Hi everybody, welcome to my professional development on literature circles. This professional development is going to focus on deepening comprehension and being a student-centered classroom. So let's go over our objectives for today. First objective is I can understand how literature circles can benefit our school's assessment data. The second objective is I can describe literature circle roles in the classroom. And the third one is I can participate in a literature circle ourselves. Okay, so we're going to dig a little bit deeper into each of these objectives throughout the day. First, what I want you to do is discuss with the people around you, how do you currently allow students to discuss readings in the classrooms? Do you have them raise their hands and share out loud? Do you have them get in groups already? How are they discussing their readings? Or maybe you don't have time for discussion at all. So turn right now and talk to them for a minute about how you are currently doing that. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to discuss some things that you're doing in your classrooms, but it was brought to my attention that as a whole school, our assessment data is showing that overall we're a little bit low on the comprehension end. So our Fontes and Pinnell benchmark assessments that I collected all the data from you guys, there was lots of low beyond text comprehension scores. So their in-text comprehension was very well. When it got to the questions that pushed them to go beyond the text, the scores were a little bit lower. Looking at last year's New York State assessments, the inferring questions and the multiple choice were very low. I know teaching inferences is very difficult, but hopefully today we can figure out ways to help them with that. And extended response scores were very low. That can do with writing as well, but I think once we dig deeper into literature circles, we'll see how those can benefit that. And then going into classrooms, in the coaching cycles and observing, there's very minimal time for collaboration. I know that we work in a difficult school population where sometimes collaboration is really hard to manage, but hopefully today, at the end of the day, you can say, wow, I can do these things in my classroom and feel comfortable with the way that I'm doing them. Okay, so what is a literature circle? They're small groups of students that gather together to discuss a piece of literature in depth. The discussion is guided by students' response to what they have read. You may hear talk about events and characters in the book, the author's craft, or personal experiences related to the story. So I've embedded a research document that you can look at. If you go, it will be able for you to view. There are multiple website sources that you can go on to see resources for literature circles. There's tools as well as books. So Literature Circle Build Excitement for books, so building excitement for the books in the literature circle, themes in literature circles. This one explores literature-rich units to help students make connections and content in their own experiences. Then there are some books that are literature circle based. So we can get some of these books for our school if you feel that they're helpful. Then there are also assessment data, so things that we can use to assess the literature circles and how effective they are in our classroom. And then there's a 15-minute video on literature circles as well. So this should be a really good resource that we could dig a little bit deeper into later and use. It's also for your use as well. Okay. So when you are starting a literature circle, you need to be choosing the right text. So in grade levels, you need to be selecting the correct reading level text. So if you have a group of kids that are reading at a lower level, you need to make sure that you have books that are in that range. Then it's really important that we're giving our students choice, okay, and providing a common theme book, because they're going to be discussing common things. They need to have connections that they can talk about and share out in their groups. So what I have also provided you with is an example of book lists and choice sheets. So I know that when I go to professional developments, I love getting resources that I could use in my classroom right away. So if you are looking for example of book lists and choice sheets, I've provided a few of them. But on here, let's do, for example, this one was a 5th grade book theme on dogs. So they have the book Shiloh, Shiloh Season, Where the Red Fern Grows, The Puppy Sister, The Trouble with Tuck, A Dog on Berkham Street, Ghostbury Park, and in each one of them they have the author, how to find it in the library or if you were to get it, and then a description of the book. It's really important to have a good short description of the book because when your students are going to choose a book, you need to hook them on one of these books. You don't want a student to go over to your selection and say, I don't like any of these books, they don't sound interesting. You want to make it interesting. I know that some teachers might use trailers, like video trailers, to make the books more interesting, to get them excited about choosing a book. And then, once you have presented them with a list, so I provided you one 5th grade for dogs, the natural disasters is 6th through 9th grade, and then the Civil Wars is high school level. So there's from 5th to high school level on here, but there are plenty more lists out there for other grade levels that you can choose. So then, once you provided them with a good description of the books, you can provide your students with a choice sheet. So, I will show you that. Now, it says, directions, read the short descriptions of each book. Notice that the description of each book has a letter, and then the students pick choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3 for their book. So this is a printable sheet for you. You can use in your classroom. This provides your students with that opportunity to go through, dissect the different descriptions, and then have a choice. You might explain to them, you might not get your first choice, but we'll try to get you your second or your first. Either way, it depends on how your classroom works and how many students are going to be in your literature circles. So this provides them with that choice, which makes it a little bit more motivating for them to read. I know it's hard to get some students to read a text, especially after you're picking them. Then, let's go back to here. So that's a great way to get your literature circles started. What I want you to do right now, I've talked a lot, and I need you guys to take some time in your grade level teams to brainstorm what would be a few good book themes for your grade level, and then write down a few books to start that collection to hand in. So for example, I know in 4th grade they take a long time to study Native Americans or the first people of New York for social studies. So maybe you come up with some chapter theme books that would be great for 4th grade. Or for the younger levels, maybe you're looking at nonfiction themes. Okay, so start to brainstorm together with your grade levels and write down a few books to start that collection. Okay, hopefully you brainstormed with your grade levels and had enough time. You can hand in those collection books and we can consider ordering some of those books for the school. Okay, so learning the roles. You don't need to have roles in literature circles, but as a whole school, I think it's great that we're going to implement these roles since the first year our priority and our focus, instructional focus, is going to be on literature circles coming up next year. I think we should all try to incorporate them. So on here I provided you with the posters to hang up in your classroom of each one. So we have connector, discussion director, artful artist, word wizard, and literary luminary. And if you click on the link, each one brings you to a printout of what the job is. So connector, your job is 2, and then it gives you that, and it gives you things to keep in mind. I have Word PDF files with the images on it that look a little bit better than these. Just for the presentation, I had to put them in Google Docs, but I have Word documents that I could send you all as well that have a cute little picture on the side to show you where you need to go for that. So, you teach your students the roles. So there's connector, which is connecting things to the books, discussion director, artful artist, word wizard, and literary luminary, and these are the posters that you can hang in your classroom. After you've taught the students your roles, it's important to have them try it out. So I want you guys as a grade level, I know these are new to you, I printed out the posters for each of you to look at your grade level team so you remember what your job is, like the students would in the classroom. And I want you to assign roles to each person and read the provided article and participate in a literature circle using the packet to fill out your specific role. So I provided a short article at each station with the posters as well as the packet. it doesn't show up very well on Google Docs. So I'm actually going to show you here the packet like this. It shows the row up at the top, your name, the group, what book, and then what was your assignment. So for that day you may have read pages 20 to 30. And then you go through the rows. So we're going to do this for about 10 minutes. You guys are just going to go through each job. So assign everybody in your grade level a job, read the short article, and then try one of the roles, and then share them out. So that packet will be provided with you as well as the posters in the article at your seat. So we'll give 10 minutes to do that activity. Okay. Hopefully you had fun with that activity. One thing that is useful is self and group assessments. So when you're working with your students, it's really important that you are assessing. Your group is assessing, your students are assessing themselves. There is a thing that they can use. It says self and group evaluations right here, where they are able to evaluate themselves. And you can read, I came to the group with the book ready and the roll sheet completed. So most of the time, some of the time, and they can grade themselves, and then they could talk about their group. So how their group was, and kind of hand that in maybe at the end of the week or day by day, however you think you want to take that assessment. Okay. And last but not least, I want to give you all some planning time today. Know that we don't have lots of time to plan in our day. So in your grade level teams, I would like you to start planning the literature circle for your specific grade level. So get with your grade level, go through the process of picking a few books with the common theme, writing descriptors about them, and provide me with the book list so that I can purchase them. If it's a really strong one, we can start to purchase these books so that we can be ready for next year. And then share your document with the descriptions in Google Docs for everyone to use. So it's a good resource that everyone's using it. Remember, you can go back and reference any of those things, as well as there's some more documents that I provided you guys with literature circles, like when you first meet, some rules that you might want to provide your students, and then this visual right here is a great visual for your classroom. It kind of shows how you're connecting with each other, each person has a role, and it's even in a circle formation. So you can use that in your classroom as well. There is a poster version that I can provide you with as well. And then at the end of your planning time, please make sure to hand it in so that I can purchase the books. And here is our ticket out of the door. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, how effective was this PD? I know it was a kind of quick one today. I wanted to be the most time effective with you. I will share this document with you so you can thoroughly read the resources that I've had, as well as the Word documents and the Google Docs for your classroom. If you have any more questions, feel free to come up and chat with me or send them to me via email. And hopefully this instructional focus will really help us improving that assessment data that we found this previous year. So thank you all so much for participating in our PD, and I hope you have a great day.